Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 463 days, Ukraine defends itself against the Russian invasion. Russian forces conducted their usual night missile and drone attack against Kyiv, reports Ukrinform. Overall, about 30 targets were downed by Ukraine's air defense, no casualties or destruction reported. Police started an investigation into the deaths of 3 people, including 1 child, during the previous Russian attack at Kyiv, reports Radio Liberty. Allegedly, they were not able to get into a bomb shelter during the air raid because it was closed. This caused a scandal in Kyiv as many people demanded from the local authorities to make sure that shelters are available to local residents when needed. As part of the investigation, law enforcement officers detained 4 people: the first deputy of the Zelenskyy district state administration, the director of the medical facility where the shelter was situated, his deputy, and a security guard. Later, city authorities announced that shelters will be open 24/7. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelenskyy said in his evening video address that it is the duty of local authorities, a very specific duty, to ensure that shelters are available and accessible around the clock. And if the duty is not fulfilled on the ground, it is the direct responsibility of law enforcement bodies to bring to justice, stressed the president. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelenskyy visited Moldova yesterday to take part in the European Political Community Summit, reports Interfax Ukraine. The president said that a coalition of Patriot air defense systems and fighter jets can defeat modern Russian terror. It will put an end to Russian blackmail with ballistic missiles and terror against Ukrainian cities. According to Zelenskyy, at the next meeting in the Ramstein format, the creation of a coalition of combat aircraft, Ukrainian Sky Shield, will be discussed. Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki said that several European prime ministers discussed with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy the training of Ukrainian pilots to operate F-16 fighter jets, and have already compiled a schedule for these classes. He added that the prime ministers of the countries that have Patriot systems promised a quick delivery of them to Ukraine. Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte also said that the Netherlands is putting pressure on a number of countries in Europe and beyond for additional deliveries of the Patriot systems to Ukraine. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelenskyy said that in the summer in Vilnius at the NATO summit, Ukraine needs a clear invitation for membership as well as security guarantees on the way to NATO, reports Interfax Ukraine. In the autumn, Ukraine needs a clear positive decision on its accession to the EU. He stressed that Ukraine is ready to join NATO and waits for the alliance to be ready to invite it, reports NVUA. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak stressed that Ukraine's rightful place is in NATO, but he did not specify when it may happen, reports Radio Liberty. Commenting on this, German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock reiterated that NATO won't accept countries in war. We would really appreciate if you could recommend us to your friends and family, as well as share information on social media. This way more people would learn about the podcast and truth about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Commander of the Ukrainian ground forces Alexander Syrskyi stated that Russia changed the operation format on the Bakhmut front, so there is a temporary decline in active hostile actions, reports Ukrainska Pravda. At the same time, there is an increase in the number of attacks from heavy weapons, mainly artillery and mortars. Syrskyi stressed that Russia seeks to seize the initiative to prevent Ukrainian counterattacks and go on the offensive. In addition, he said that the Ukrainian armed forces suspended their advance on the flanks on the Bakhmut front over the past few days. The command of our group is taking appropriate measures aimed at restoring the combat capability of our units and disrupting Russian intentions, informed Syrskyi. According to Sky News sources among Western officials, capturing Bakhmut has likely cost Russia at least 60,000 casualties over the course of the year-long battle. The source clarified that 60,000 is a conservative estimate which includes both the wounded and the killed. Of these, the official added at least a third were killed. The total number of Russian losses in the war with Ukraine exceeds 200,000. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We are a commercial initiative of just two people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.